Well, good afternoon. It's 4:05 in the East Coast, 5 after the hour. My name is Willie Lawson, and I am not one of the right guys. Although I'm a right guy, I'm not one of the right guys you're used to listening to here in this time slot on the Exceptional Conservative Network. It is, my name is Willie Lawson. Ralph and Lonnie Poindexter are stuck in the belly of the beast. They are at the inauguration festivities right now. They're probably at the parade, and there is no way that you can get a signal out of there, because I'm sure all the Secret Service people and the security and the news media and all that are sucking up every inch of bandwidth. From what I understand, I heard from Ralph earlier that they can't keep a signal. You know what? It's like keeping a cigar lit in a thunderstorm. So it's not possible for them to broadcast live. They were really looking forward to broadcasting live from the parade. The parade festivities started about an hour ago, but they're not able to. So I guess that you're stuck with me for the next 2 hours here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media, and we are being syndicated on High Plains Talk Radio Network around the country, in the great land of America. Welcome to Trumplandia. And I have to say this, and I'm going to say it more than once here the next couple hours. What day is it? Trump Day! That's what day it is. Trump Day! That's all. You know what? That's it.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, I know. So we are here, and we've got, I think, an interesting topic to talk about. You can communicate with me at WLSTECN@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on the Twitter at WLSTECN, and we can communicate that way. How about that? We're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about Trump's plan for Blck America, because I think that that's really important. I believe that that's a turning point. We're going to explain why 13% of black men, listen to this, listen to the good news contained in this, 13% of black men cast a ballot for Donald Trump. If you're wondering why the left, Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors, are freaking out, it's because 13% of black men decided that it was time to do something different. That it was time. That they looked at Hillary Clinton and said, that's just too much. It's too much. I can't go there. I can go Barack Obama. At least he's a black man. I can't go. You know, with having Miss Mellie as a principal. I can't go with having her as a president. I can't go with Miss Mellie from Color Purple. Remember the scene in Color Purple where Oprah Winfrey's character gets to go home? And she says, and you can stay all day. But she couldn't figure out how to drive the car home. And she wouldn't let any of the black men drive her home. Right? And she definitely wasn't going to stay there. Right? So, so Oprah's character, Sophia, had to get in the car and drive Miss Mellie back home. Right? She was only there for a little bit. There's no way that black men in America said, I don't want her as my president. We don't trust her. We've never trusted her. The fact of the matter is that a few men, black men who were woke, I hate even using that term, but who were woke, said, you know what, it was her and her husband and their crime bill of the 80s that started mass incarcerations, that started making prisons a business, making money, making sure people were incarcerated. She was the one that said that black and brown children were super predators. And I'll tell you what happened. They got in the voting booth and they voted for all the other elections, mayor, city council, blah, blah, blah. And they got back to the president and said, screw it, Trump, there's no way I can do it. Which means something, and we're going to talk about this today. It means something. It isn't just some sort of coincidental outlier. It actually means something. I believe it's a turning point. I believe that it is a turning point. And in that turning point, we are going to see some interesting things for at least the next 4 years. I think we're going to start seeing some of these things right now, because it's going to change the conversation. You know what? You can talk a good game sometimes, but when you start writing stuff down, you start promising things, especially politicians. You start promising things. When you start writing stuff down, things get different. Things become very, very different. It's completely different. Look, I mean, we hear politicians all the time promise this or that, and then sometimes get asked to sign a pledge, and they'll say, "No, I don't need to sign a pledge." Trump did the very same thing. I don't need to sign a pledge. Because what they know then, once you write it down, then it's real. Then I can refer back to it. Then you can't finesse it. Then you can't lie to me. And Trump's plan, let's see what he calls it. Donald Trump's New Deal for Blck America with a plan for urban renewal. It's written down. Now, are there ABC details? No, but there are 10 major points. Now there may be. I tried to get through this in my show today, but I've got twice the amount of time, so I may be able to get through the whole thing. But there are 10 there are 10 points, 10 bullet points, and and these are things that we can go back and see. Most of them are quantifiable. We can see. You know, there's a lot of love for ex-President Barack Obama online right now and on Tumblr. You know what? I had a Tumblr account, and I got rid of my Tumblr account, and now I know why I got rid of my Tumblr account. Because Tumblr is where Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors live. It's their secret land. It's a land of cupcakes and snowflakes. I can't hardly stand it. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to get on my phone. I'm going to delete it again. I'm going to delete it again. I'm not going to try to be a lone voice in the wind. I'm not going to. I'm simply going to let them have it. Let Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors have Tumblr. It's all yours. I'm here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where, you know what, you're welcome to bring it. Go ahead. Try it. Try me. It's all good. It's all good. If you would like to be in the chat room, there on the ExceptionalConservativeShow.com website. You can click on TEC and PM, and we're on that page. Again, my name is Willie Lawson, and I am not one of the Wright brothers. Ralph and Lonnie are stuck at the parade. Well, they're not stuck at the parade. They wanted to be there, but they wanted to broadcast live from there, but there's not enough bandwidth to start up a dial-up page on AOL due to the high security, due to the legacy news media. So there's no bandwidth for that. So Ralph got a hold of us, and I said that, you know what, I got your back, dude. Lonnie, Ralph, I got you right here. No worries. We'll be back with more of The Right Guys with Willie Lawson right after these messages. innovation, inspiration, and imagination. 3 important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm with fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight. Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. Welcome to The Right Guys, with Willie Lawson. Both Ralph and Lonnie are tied up in the back room, and I've taken over. No, that's not what's happened at all. Both Ralph and Lonnie are at the inaugural parade because you know what today is, right? Right? Trump Day! That's what day it is. It's Trump Day. Friday is now and forever known as Trump Day! God, I love that so much. It is so obnoxious, but I love it. They can't be here. They can't get enough bandwidth. They wanted to do a live show from the parade. It would have been great. Not enough bandwidth. To stay on the air there. And I'm sure if they let Trump know about it, he would make sure that the bandwidth would be plentiful. It'd be very good. It'd be the best bandwidth. It'd be great bandwidth. It'd be the greatest bandwidth. Everybody says that he has the best bandwidth. It'd be good times, no doubt. But we're going to talk about a little bit about Donald Trump's. Everybody has talked about it, so it's time for us to talk about it here. Donald Trump's New Deal for Blck America, which is on his website, on DonaldJTrump.com. I think is what the website is called. DonaldJTrump.com. Donald Trump's New Deal for Blck America. with 13% of African American male, of black men deciding to change the direction of the black vote, such as it is, black men deciding that they would break from the pack. Now, black men have not, in the last 30 years, broken from the pack in a substantive way. But when you have more than 10% of black men breaking from the pack politically, it means something. It means that those men are tired of the status quo. They simply did not buy it. They didn't buy the Democrat argument. They didn't buy Trump's a racist. They didn't buy the sky is going to fall if you elect Donald Trump. They didn't buy it. It wasn't like they all lost their mind and became conservative Republicans. That's not what happened. They just didn't buy it. Democrats were not able to make the case to 13% of black men in America. And it's not just me and Ralph and Lonnie and Ken McClinton who they were not able to make the case for. Although they didn't make the case for Lonnie, Ralph, Ken, and myself. They never do. But for 13% of African American men in America, they were not able to make the case. A similar number of Latino men, they were not able to make the case. Now, some would say it's because they didn't try. And that may be as true as anything. And because of their lack of effort in trying, it's simply thinking that name calling and being emotional was going to be enough. That was a failure. But I believe it's more than that. I believe that we're finally starting to see the shift that we've been praying for. It's been 60 years, and the left has done everything it could. It did more than the Klan could ever do, could ever hope to do in destroying the black family. Johnson's War on the Poor did more to destroy the black family than the Klan could do in 100 years and 100 lynchings. And because of that, black men were pushed out of the family. They were pushed out of the black family dynamic, making black women dependent, and this is all planned, dependent on government, because the black woman is going to do whatever she can to make sure that her kids eat, to make sure that her kids live indoors, to make sure her kids have an education, to make sure her kids are okay. Mama Bear is going to make sure that her babies are okay. So if she has to take the food that's put on the back porch to take to her children to make sure that everything's okay, her little cubs, she's going to do that, because that's who she is. A number of generations passed, and then she's figuring out or thinking that the black man, Papa Bear, she don't need him. Why? Because she can get food and sustenance for herself and her children on the back porch of this house here, right? It comes in the mail. It doesn't even, you don't have to go to it. It comes in the mail every month. Enough of it comes in the mail now that she can get her kids fed, her nails did, and her hair done. So that destroys the black family, and it doesn't take many iterations of that for black boys to figure out that they're not even supposed to be a part of the black family dynamic, because it's not what they see. It's not what they see in their own house. Their cousins, they have an auntie, but they don't have an uncle. Think about this. They have an auntie, but they don't have an uncle because the dad's not there in that house either. They got a grandma, but they don't have a grandpa. Because this is a generational curse that the left, that the Democrat Party has put on black people since the 60s and before. And I'm going to call it just that. It's a curse that they put on black people before, since the 60s and before. It doesn't take very long that you can change the entire dynamic. The left was really good about social experimentation, and the guinea pig they used for the most part were black people. U.S. government has a history of using black people as guinea pigs, don't they? Certainly they do. So the left isn't any different in using black people in some sort of social experiment, especially social experiments to get votes. And in continuation of that social experiment was the crime bill that took the few remaining black males that were in the neighborhood and in the black society, incarcerated them in mass for nonviolent crimes. For 10, 15, 20, 30 years with these sentences that simply don't match the crime, especially they don't match the crimes for their white counterparts. This is what the 13% of black men that voted for Donald Trump started to see. You started to see. And they said no, and they have said no more. Now they don't. Now I'll tell you, they don't have any idea what to expect. They don't have any idea what to expect. All they can do is hope. So I'm going to give them a little bit more than hope. I mean, hope is good, and you can't go on without hope. But you know what? You got to have a little bit more than hope. Let's go ahead and go through, if we can, Donald Trump's plan for, New Deal for Blck America, with a plan for urban renewal that's on his website. I'll just read it to you and we'll talk about it. Nobody needs to tell African Americans in this country that the old New Deal from the Democrat Party isn't working for them. In election after election, Democrat Party leaders take African American voters for granted, and year after year, the condition of Blck America gets worse. The conditions in our inner cities today are unacceptable. Too many African Americans have been left behind. You know what? And like I said earlier today, that's exactly what black leaders say every time they want your vote. You know, there was a congresswoman from Michigan that was interviewed after the inauguration, and she was upset with Donald Trump for painting this dark, bleak picture of Michigan and places like Detroit. Yes, there are people who are busting ass in Detroit to make things better. They have to. They live there. But the fact of the matter is that Detroit is still Detroitistan. So she wanted, because it's typical of white liberals, and it's typical of white female liberals especially, is they wanted to paint this rosy picture. They wanted to blow smoke up everybody's butt that everything is just fine in Detroit now, when the fact of the matter is that it isn't. It's not for everybody. That's for sure. Reading on. African Americans need a new deal from their next president. Donald Trump is proposing just that. The following 10 promises announced by Donald Trump on October 26, 2016 in Charlotte, North Carolina, that will define a new deal for Blck America. Now, here's the best part about this. The best part about this is that it's written down. The best part about this is that we can say to Donald Trump on Twitter, because Donald Trump he has the keys to the @POTUS Twitter handle, and Melania has the keys to the @FLOTUS Twitter handle, but he says he's not going to relinquish @real Donald Trump. It's it's transparency like we've never seen. It's the same. It's promised, and we'll have to see how it works out. Obviously, you know, all these presidents have these highfalutin ideas when they start, but reality shows up, and things change. They have to. We'll see. But right now, Donald Trump is promising by just keeping his own Twitter handle at Real Donald Trump to be the most accessible and transparent president ever. I was thrilled to hear this morning that he was keeping at Real Donald Trump, that it wasn't getting deleted, that it wasn't that he wasn't going to have somebody else do it for him, that he's going to do it himself. Anyway, so now that we can get a hold of Donald Trump, we can hold his feet to the fire on what about point one, which is this: great education through school choice. We will allow every disadvantaged child in America to attend the public, private, charter, magnet, religious, or home school of their choice. School choice is the great civil rights issue of our time. And Donald Trump will be the nation's biggest cheerleader for school choice in all 50 states. We will also ensure funding for historic black colleges and universities, more affordable 2- and 4-year college, and support for trade and vocational education. There's so much in just point one. For me, if it was just point one, I'd be dang, dude. If you get half of point one done, you've done more. You could do more in 4 years for urban America than Barack Obama did in 8. And that's right, I said it. That's right, I said it. If Donald Trump can get half of the things done in point one of his New Deal for Black America, then he will have done more for urban America than Barack Obama has done in 8. You are correct, sir. There's so much here. Allow every disadvantaged child, every child who is stuck because of the unions and crooked politicians in a failing school district, in a failing school, in a dangerous school, a chance using vouchers or whatever to attend another public school, a private school, a charter school, a magnet school, the church school, and this is the opportunity for urban America and Black America especially. It's time to start opening up these church schools. We talk a good game on Sunday and Wednesday night. We talk about the Lord Jesus. What we need to do is start educating our children, so we can stop having 75% of them born to single mothers. We need to make sure that they understand that the family unit is an important thing, that the strength of our community during the times of people who were doing good things at the time, but has lost his mind and has sold his soul to the devil. John Lewis, it was the school and the church that were the centers of these very successful, safe Black communities. So if he can get that, we can get that going. School choice. And I mentioned on my show I do on Blog Talk Radio, whoever mentions school choice first will win. Hillary Clinton wasn't going to mention school choice because she's so tied to the unions, they would have had her head on a platter. It's very, very important. Now, let's look at another point inside, and point number one. It's obvious that maybe not even in 2 hours am I going to get through all these points, but that's okay. We're going to look at this like human beings. We're going to look at this unemotionally. We're going to look at this intellectually and not emotionally. We're not going to cry and whine over what people say. Well, but he's racist. How do you know? First of all, how do you know that? You don't know that. Let's talk about the real stuff. Let's talk about the stuff that we can quantify, stuff that we can actually hold any president's feet to the fire on. He said, we also ensure funding for historic black colleges and universities, HBCUs, and every single HBCU in the country is in some sort of financial situation. Every damn one of them. And it doesn't mean there's anything nefarious going on. It's just a hard thing to do. It's just a hard thing to do. To run an HBCU. To keep up with everybody else, to make sure that your students have every advantage, all the equipment, all the stuff, the finest teachers, all that stuff. It doesn't come cheap. You know what? Teachers were out there with Bernie Sanders in the primaries going, oh, free college. Well, none of them were going to take a pay cut. None of them were going to come there and teach those little raggedy freshmen for free. That wasn't going to happen. Nobody was volunteering that. So running these universities, first of all, I understand it's not cheap. Ain't nobody taking a pay cut. Ain't nobody doing nothing for free. So the HBCUs are suffering. They're smaller, usually by just because they're smaller. They don't get, because they're smaller, they don't get the level of donations and contributions from alum that they should, frankly. So it's really time to start looking at HBCUs and finding ways to get them going financially. Just start getting clever about your HBCUs. Start looking at more affordable 2- and 4-year college tracks and support for trade and vocational education. This whole ridiculous liberal, leftist, progressive idea that everybody needs to go through their second level indoctrination centers after you get them through the first indoctrination center, which is elementary, middle, and high school. That they need to go to graduate studies and indoctrination to turn them into Captain Cupcake and a snowflake frickin' warrior. That we need to start having more vocational education, because you know what you need? Let's just get real here. You need somebody to fix that AC, and you don't give a rat's ass what their politics are. If it's hot in your house, you need somebody to show up who knows what they're doing with that HVAC. You need somebody, if you have an electrical problem in your house and the lights won't come on, and you smell burning wire, when you get the electrician there, you don't give a crap about their politics. You don't give a crap if they're a conservative or wild-eyed Marxist. You don't care. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. And we have fewer and fewer of those people because those programs are being looked down upon when we've got a lot of people who need to be there. This whole idea that everybody needs a 4-year degree or master's degree from one of these universities is stupid. That's never been the case. It's never been the case. And it certainly isn't the case now. What needs to happen, and what needs to happen sooner than later, is that these trade programs that do things like X-ray technician and sonogram technician in the medical field who teach people to have these skills that they can use anywhere, and they are high-paying jobs, that they're not service gigs that work on tips, that teach people to do these real things. Auto mechanics still work because, we just took the car. We just took my son's car to get the thermostat replaced. And I know all the men are going, well, that's not hard. You could have done it yourself. Not on this 2004 Aztec. It cost $95 to have it done because you needed somebody who knew what the hell they were doing. There you go. So until we start looking at trade vocational education as a real option for people now, we're a mess. Anyway, we've got to take a break. We'll be back with more of the right guys right after these messages.
Good morning. I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work there too. But for those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sackheads. Sackheads.
Radio.
Sackheads. Sackheads.
Radio.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
And
in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red. Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
My name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. If you want to hear what the truth is, you want to hear it in an unfiltered kind of way, join me every day, Monday through Friday, here on the Exceptional Conservative Network at 9:05 for my show, The Willie Lawson Show. You can go to my website, fightbackmedia.com. You can hit me up on Twitter at WLSTECN. You can send me an email at WLSTECN@gmail.com, because we need to talk and we need to work. We need to get in communities and get stuff done. We could talk about it here on radio all day long, but until we get in, in the rib joint, in the chicken shack, get in the front pews of the churches and really start talking about the things that are important and making plans and carrying out those plans in cities all over America, then we're just talking. And the time for talking is over. The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We'll see you when we see you. Nothing fits a home perfectly than a brand new grand piano. And if you're looking for a piano for your brand new home, you've got to visit Dave's Piano. And that's davespianoshowroom.com. If you're looking for the perfect thing to set off your new home, a piano is what you're looking for. And my friend Dave has the perfect piano for you. And the best thing about buying a piano from Dave is that he does everything. He delivers, he sets up, he tunes, he takes care of everything. The best part about Dave's Piano, quite frankly, is Dave. So when you buy a piano from Dave's Piano Showroom, you only deal with Dave. You can reach them at www.davespianoshowroom.com. That's davespianoshowroom.com. All right. Well, you know what? It's always fun to be here. The name of the show is The Right Guys. My name is Willie Lawson. I'm sitting in because Ralph and Lonnie can't be here today. Ralph anyway, I know, is at the parade. He was going to broadcast live from there. He was all excited about doing that, but he can't find enough bandwidth to excite a rubber band, due to all the security, and stuff, going on there. But you know what? He reached out to me and I said, guess what? Let's get this done. Let's go ahead and see if we can make this happen. And you know what? We can. So that's what we do here. We do it on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We can back each other up. We were talking about Donald Trump's new deal for Blck America, and a plan for urban renewal. I was hoping in 2 hours we'd be able to get through the whole thing, but it doesn't look like there's any way in the world that I'm going to be able to do that. So we're going to chop off another chunk and sort of hit the ones that I think are important. And again, like I said, if Donald Trump can get any half of number one done as relates to education, half, he will have done more in 4 years or even 2 years than Barack Obama did in 8.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, I know. And that is a sad truth, but a truth nonetheless. And sometimes truth brings a sadness to you. This truth can be a bitter pill to swallow, but you better suck down a handful. If you're thinking about getting healthy at any point, you better suck down a handful. All right, let's get to another one of the things that Donald Trump has on his website. You can go to donaldjtrump.com and check out these things. And again, he won't be able to remove this because these are the things that we, as urban conservatives, too, are going to hold his feet to the fire. Now, we need urban everybody. We need urban conservatives. We need the Democrats. We need everybody who's concerned about what's going on in our country, and especially what's concerned about what's going on in our inner cities, to get with us, to get together with us and hold Donald Trump and his administration's feet to the fire on these points. The second point, very important, safe communities. We will make our communities safe again. Every poor African-American child must be able to walk down the street in peace. Safety is a civil right. We will invest in training and funding for both local and federal law enforcement operations to remove the gang members, drug dealers, and criminal cartels from our neighborhoods. The reduction of crime is not merely a goal, but a necessity. Now, I know that some people on the left are going, but wait, when he said training cops to get rid of gangs, he didn't say anything about training cops not to shoot unarmed black people. No, we didn't. Because frankly, if we are, again, take a hit of truth, it's a bitter pill sometimes, but it's important that as little as it happens is heartbreaking. I understand every time it happens, it is heart-wrenching. But that's not a major thing. It's not like it isn't happening. It's not like it's not heart-wrenching, but the fact of the matter, if you look at the numbers, it doesn't happen that often. And if we can get rid of the drug dealers, get rid of the criminal element in our own communities, then we can have the rest of it. We got to stay focused. If we can get rid of the drug dealers and the criminals, then we can have the rest of it. And we need to be able to have the rest of it. We can't have any of the economic development. We can't have any of the school stuff. We can't have the things about business. We can't have the family. We can't have any of the rest of the stuff until we can live in live in neighborhoods that are free from the drug boys, from the dope boys, free from the drive-by shootings. You know what? Until your kid can walk to the neighborhood school or down to the neighborhood bodega, and you don't have to worry about them getting caught up and catching a stray. You don't have to worry about somebody whispering in his ear, you know what, I want you to take this package up to the street and put it on that doorstep. I'll give you $500. And getting caught up in some crap, right? True? I understand that's not happening everywhere. It's happening enough to where we need to address it. So if Trump or anybody in his administration can start working on making where we live, where I live, safer, how can I not go along with that? Why wouldn't I support living in a safer place? Living in a place that we don't have to deal with the drug boys, right? We don't have to deal with the drug cartels. We don't have to deal with all the, dangerous neighborhoods. We don't have to worry about, our sisters and being our sisters and our wives and our mothers being attacked, beaten, robbed, and raped. And they're being attacked, beaten, robbed, and raped by people who look like us. It isn't like the Klan is showing up. And showing up in the hood and causing all this mayhem and havoc. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. Right? It'd be okay in some people's minds if that was what was happening, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is that we live in some of these communities, especially with the high-rise reservations that the left has put black people in by stealing their houses through gentrification and moving black people to these high-rise reservations that are some of the most dangerous places to live in America, packed in there like rats that eventually turn on one another. Yeah, we need our communities to be safer. Yes, President Trump, we need our neighborhoods and our communities to be safer. And if you will help us make our neighborhoods safer, if you could get that done in 4 years, you will have done more than Barack Obama did for urban America in 8 years.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, I know. If you can get half of that done, if he gets half of points 1 and 2 done in 4 years, he will have done more for urban America than Donald Trump has done than Barack Obama has done in 8 years. That makes me, I'll tell you frankly, that makes me sad. Because I, of course, did not vote for Barack Obama. But I thought that then President Obama had an incredible opportunity to do some amazing things, to take his perspective and turn some of his perspective into policy. But his ideology blinded everything. His progressive ideology blinded everything and left communities that he was a community organizer in behind and in the dust and untaken care of. All right, listen, thanks so much. We'll be back right after these messages.
Show you how I would deliver this conservative message to the black community. Can I do that real quick? I hear you. I feel you. I get it. Life in your America sucks. Your parents didn't care or weren't there. The schools pushed you out without making sure you can read. Politicians tell you that a brighter tomorrow, so you smoke as much as you can to get through today. You are tired of seeing your brothers, sons, daughters, cousins, your friends killed, imprisoned, or lost to drugs. You want to do the right thing, but all it takes is one time, one mistake for everything to go wrong. And picking yourself up seems impossible because you can't get a job when you have a record. You're sleeping on your mama's couch because you can't afford your own space. You feel unfit to parent your children because your life is so screwed up. What in the hell are you going to teach them? I get it. I know. But you are being surrounded by the people that championed your tracks. They developed your public housing. They took control of your education. They sent your fathers to jail for nonviolent offenses. Made single motherhood cool by calling it feminism. Built the police force through unionization you claim harass you. And now when you're fed up, they give agitators reign to burn down your city. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. If your friends are yelling for death and destruction, do they actually want change? Is that what you live in now? Democrats want to be the party of the poor. In order for that to happen, they have to keep you poor. You always have to fight the oppressors. That will mean you are always oppressed. You call us the party of the rich. And I'm still straight out of State South. Well, I had it written down already because they were like, you call us the party of the rich. And I'm not going to be spineless like those who run from it. I'm not rich, but by the grace of God, I will be. I love the feeling of security. I love being financially dependent on no one but myself and my husband. I love being able to provide my daughters with Nikes and books, an iPad and robotics camp. It is a great feeling. Now come and eat with us. Come and eat with us. If you are tired of being poor and overlooked, come and eat at a table that believes in ownership and growth. See, we won't begrudge your success because we know that the next dinner is on you.
Sonny Johnson. That was Sonny Johnson on, last year, March 2015, at Right Online in Washington, D.C., telling how she would deliver the conservative message to urban America, to Blck America. That was 3 minutes and 18 seconds that, quite frankly, changed my life. And I know that's hyperbolic, but that is the truth. It really is. It was 3 minutes that absolutely changed my life. And I play it on my show all the time. Again, my name is Willie Lawson. I'm the host of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. I'm pitching in and sitting in for Ralph and Lonnie, and they'll be back on Monday at 4:00 here on the East Coast. That makes it 1:00 in the afternoon on the left coast. They'll be back. Right now, they're at the parade trying to find some cell signal. Good luck with all of that. Again, we appreciate you being here, and we will be back for another hour of the fun, of the frivolity. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on my Facebook page, Fight Back Media. And until we see you again, just hang on. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more of The Right Guys on TECN. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. 3 important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate, when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm with fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight. Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. All right. Well, welcome back to The Right Guys with Ralph and Lonnie. Ralph and Lonnie are not here, obviously, because I don't sound like Ralph or Lonnie. My name is Willie Lawson. I am the host of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. My show is on 9:05 Monday through Friday. Come and hang out with me in the morning if you're up. And you ought to be up at 9 o'clock. My God, what's wrong with you? If you're not up by 9 o'clock, there's something wrong with you. Get your butt out of bed. I'm serious. I'm serious. That if you're not up by 9 o'clock, you're not a serious adult. I'm just saying, if you're not up by 9 o'clock in the morning, you are not a serious adult. Now, for those of you who work nights, who work the third shift, about 9 o'clock is when you're heading to bed. I get that. But if that's not you, you're not a serious adult. If you can't roll your raggedy butt out of bed by 9 o'clock, and be ready to do the whole adult thing by 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to talk to you. Don't listen to my show. Never mind. Don't worry about it. In any case, we were talking about Donald Trump's New Deal for Black Americans and a plan for urban renewal. When coupled with the 13% of black men that voted for Donald Trump. Now, I know that there are some protesters trying to get to the parade route where my friends Ralph and Lonnie and Ken and Melanie, other TEC and host are. I know. They're trying to get to you. And they're being held back by the police. But as I look at that, I'm serious, but as I look at that crowd, do I see a lot of black men? No, there aren't a lot of black men. There's not even a lot of black people. Mostly white, college-age liberals. I'm telling you, I hardly care. I'm telling you that I hardly even care. So there you go. That's what we're dealing with. Right now there's some protesting going on. Of course, NBC, MSNBC, the Clinton News Network are covering the protesters and giving them TV time, which is why they do it. Now we have to understand these are the same people who travel the country protesting. This is what they do. This is a lot of the same people whose moms and dads believe that their sons and daughters are actually going to college when what they're actually doing is they're getting money and working for these subversive organizations that pay them travel and lodging to go cause trouble at events around the country and some of them around the world. That's who these people are. All that to say, hey, Lonnie, Ken, Ralph, Melanie, Shannon and Michael, all those. I think everybody's at the parade but me. That's okay. Guess what? Be careful, be safe, be well. All right, listen, we were talking about Donald Trump's New Deal for Blck America. We were heading through some of the high spots. We're going to continue with this one. Number 3, equal justice under the law. Now, that's not a Donald Trump deal. That's a constitutional deal. The whole equal protection under the law is the same exact cause and reason that we have gay marriage. That's what the homosexuals used to get the Supreme Court to go along with gay marriage in every single state in the union, regardless of the states that said no. California said no 4 times. The Supreme Court said, thanks to John Roberts, sure, under equal protection under the law. Like somehow being married offers you some sort of protection. I'm not sure. I've been married almost 30 years. I'm not sure where that protection thing they're talking about is. We got married in 87, so it's been 30 years plus. So this is what it reads. Equal justice under the law. We will apply the law fairly, equally, and without prejudice. There will be only one set of rules, not a two-tiered system of justice. Equal justice also means the same rules for Wall Street. That's what it means. So if you embezzle and steal, you go to jail. If you embezzle and steal and you happen to be on Wall Street or K Street, you go to jail. If you are caught with 2 joints in your car, and the penalty, if you are white, is 60 days probation and drug rehab, then if you are caught with 2 joints in your car and black and in the same position as it relates to your history with law enforcement, get the same penalty. Because that's the big argument by a lot of black progressives for the legalization of marijuana. Because a lot of black people, thanks to the crime bill and 3 strikes you're out, are getting charged with minor marijuana offenses or minor non-violent offenses and going to jail for 15 and 20 years because it's their third strike. Destroying black families, destroying black neighborhoods. So it's time to start looking at these things a little bit more reasonably. Don't you think? And this is something that we can hold. We could do it on a case-by-case basis, and we can look at a whole bunch of case law and hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire on all of this. This is fabulous. Now, here's one of the ones that's really near and dear to my heart. Number 4, tax reforms to create jobs and to lift up people and communities. We will lower the business tax from 35 to 15% to bring thousands of new companies to our shores. We will also have a massive middle-class tax cut, tax-free child care savings accounts, and child care tax deductions and credits. We will also have a tax holidays for inner-city investment and new tax incentives to get foreign companies to relocate in blighted America. We will empower cities and states to seek federal disaster designations for blighted communities in order to initiate the rebuilding of vital infrastructure, the demolition of abandoned properties, and the increased presence of law enforcement. That sort of dovetails back to safe communities. Nothing, and this goes back to the New York broken windows law enforcement. If you have a building that's abandoned and the windows are broke out, you got to get those windows fixed because that just tells everybody that nobody cares about this property. So you might as well break out the rest of the windows. And there's more vandalism and there's more crime, and it tells the bad guy that there's nobody here that cares about where this is. So abandoned buildings, you've got to tear them down to start with. If Donald Trump and his administration can just get 10% of some of these abandoned properties torn down around the country in some of these neighborhoods, they will have done. In the next 4 years, they will have done a tremendous job. Now, you might say that that's not necessarily a very conservative thing, but it's a smart thing. Pam Iorio in where I live here in Tampa. Spent a lot of time, a lot of her mayorship, getting rid of abandoned properties. Not far from where I'm sitting right now was pretty much an abandoned trailer park. There was no running water there. There was no electrical services there. It was just it was a big, huge lot and a bunch of trailers. Some of them had been house trailers, single wides, and some of them were small travel trailers. Raggedy, dangerous, rat infested, the whole nine. They were being used as a whole hotel. Prostitutes were taking johns there. People were in these places doing drugs. There were, of course, people who were, it got so bad that even homeless people wouldn't stop there to squat. They wouldn't find somewhere to squat there because it was too dangerous. They were more likely to be stabbed and robbed in this trailer park than to have a good night's sleep out of the rain. That's how bad it was. And after years of trying to find out who the owners were, what they ended up doing was they went in and they pulled out all those trailers and they cleaned up the land and unfortunately right now it's still empty. But guess what? Guess what went away? The drug element went away, the prostitution went away, the criminal element went away, and it benefited everything around it. That's why it's important to get the abandoned buildings torn down. I've seen that myself. It's important to get infrastructure, but it's important to get businesses to move to areas that need the businesses. It doesn't do you any good to get a large company from somewhere else to come here if they're not going to have a business in your neighborhood. We'll be back with more of The Right Guys with Willie Lawson right after these messages. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. three important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. All right, we're back. Thanks so much for coming to The Right Guys with Ralph and Lonnie. They are not here. They are on the parade route somewhere. God bless them. Y'all take care. Y'all be careful. The protesters are being held at bay by federal authorities and the Washington, D.C. Police Department. The Metro PD is holding them at bay blocks away. You can probably hear them. They had to be tear gassed about a couple hours ago, so I think Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors, a lot of them probably have decided to just go on back wherever they came from. And I'm sure what hasn't happened yet is the motorcycle gangs. The motorcycle protection hasn't shown up yet where they are. And I hope they don't, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get killed. But the idea is that you cannot continue to screw with people and expect everything to be okay. And expect everything to be fine. Eventually, you're going to mess with somebody and you're going to get hurt. So it's probably, so it's your right to protest, but it's not your right to break things and tear stuff up. I was watching, and only for the briefest of seconds because it makes my blood pressure go up. It was the mayor of of Baltimore, and she was saying that she was conflicted because she understands the right for people to protest and the stuff, especially she was okay with it because they were protesting the inauguration of Donald Trump. So, of course, she was good with that. However, she did say that she was, it's the citizens of D.C. When you start tearing stuff up, it's the citizens of D.C., it's the taxpayers of D.C. that are going to have to pay for the cleanup. That's why I liken that behavior to childish behavior. Because you can tear crap up, But it's the responsible adults that are going to have to put it back together. It isn't the protesters, and it's not the people who that pay for the protesters to be there. They're gonna say, yeah, you know what, we came to your town and we tried to burn that SOB down, but we didn't do it. So I guess what we'll do is we'll drop off a few $100,000 at City Hall for cleanup. No. That falls right on the taxpayers of that municipality. And if you're a cupcake warrior and you think that that's okay to do, then you know what? You're
wrong.
You are just plain
Wrong.
It ain't right. It ain't right. All right, we're talking about Donald Trump's New Deal. Make sure I get the right name. New Deal for Blck America, with a plan for urban renewal. We had gone through the great education through school choice. Number 2, safe communities. Number 3, equal justice under the law. Number 4, before we went to break, tax reform to create jobs and lift up people in communities. And we also gone to financial reforms. Oh, this is good. I'm going to start the hour with this. Financial reforms to expand credit to support new job creation. Now, I know that for a lot of folks, they don't know what the heck that means. But if you've tried to start a business and keep a business going, you know exactly what that means. Here's the part that a lot of people don't get, especially about small business. This is why when people go to work for small businesses, they don't really understand why they can't get more money, why they can't get health care, why they can't get this and benefits and this and that and the other. It's because that the owner of a small business, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a dry cleaners, doesn't have all that money. They don't have all that money. They don't, because all their money is in the business. They get money on credit, short-term loans that they move through to provide them capital. Some businesses use short-term loans to pay things like payroll. You get paid at all because somebody borrows the money. And when these lines of credits dry up, that's why the business dries up. Oh, and you tell people, they go, oh, I didn't know that. Well, I know you didn't know that. I know. That's why I'm telling you. That's why Willie Lawson is here on The Right Guys, here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, to tell you. That's why that's important. Financial reforms to expand credit to support new job creation. Can't hire anybody if I can't, first of all, can't hire anybody if I can't afford to pay them. I can't hire anybody if I can't afford to pay the unemployment insurance. I can't hire anybody if I can't afford to pay the health care costs or the health care penalty. I can't hire anybody until I have the money to hire them. Even before the payroll. You are not, and I think a lot of black people don't really understand this, why this is a big deal. Well, this is a huge deal. Yes, and other people other than black people will benefit from this. Yes. Rising tides raise all boats. But we need a rising tide in where we live more than anywhere. We will have financial reforms to make it easier for young African Americans to get credit to pursue their dreams in business and create jobs in their communities. Now, it isn't just having the money to start the business that is the deal. That's not everything. It's all the other costs, like the payroll thing. Like, I actually used to go to a couple of pawn shops in my area, and I actually talked to some of the pawn shop managers who hit me with, you know what, some of the businesses actually go to pawn shops, borrow money at pawn shops to get payroll done. Now, we're not talking about lots of money necessarily, because Most of those places are fairly small. They've got 2 or 3 employees. But they've gone to pawn. I mean, the pawn shop not far from where I live. And the guy told me that, you know what, people who have small businesses come in and get loans, short-term, incredibly high-interest loans, because they can't get the short-term, low-interest loans from banks because credit has dried up due to things like Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank has made it more difficult for small businesses to get the credit they need. Not easier. Dodd-Frank was one of those things that was put into place after the financial crisis to get the big guys, to get all the big guys. We're going to get them. And when we're so busy getting them, we often get ourselves. The bigger the bomb you use to blow up the enemy, the more likely that you're going to get caught up in the shrapnel. And that's exactly what's happened. So the small businesses, especially the small businesses in urban America that need that credit, that ongoing supply of credit, are not able to get it. And if they can't get it, they can't go on. It's as simple as that. And Dodd-Frank has caused it. It's been a disaster. The policies of the Clintons brought us the financial recession, making banks give loans to people for houses they know damn well they can't afford, and then getting on them, making life more difficult through Fannie and Freddie Mae, right? Through Fannie and Freddie. And then it's funny, the left is great. No, we don't see that to be the truth. Except it's reality. Except that there are real live people who are able to get mortgages for $400,000 homes in California and Florida and New York and Ohio with no money down. Who gets that deal? Nobody gets that deal. I'll tell you a real quick personal story that has to do with me personally. When we bought the home that we're in right this very second, I cannot tell you that I would love to tell you that my credit is impeccable and that my credit number is in the 4 digits, but it's not. And it's not now, and it wasn't then. When I talked to the first guy who I was my first mortgage person, he told me what he was going to do. We looked at my credit. We looked at the things I owe. We looked at my money and my financial situation. He said, "You know what? We're going to do this mortgage without your wife. It's just going to be you." I didn't know why at first. I figured out why. It's going to be you because he's going to do me first. Because if I didn't fly, then he could just stop and do it with Deborah, do it with my wife, right? Use her numbers. But he said, "Here's what we do: we bundle." This is before the financial crisis. This is why. This is when housing prices were going through the roof and everybody was making money and everybody was happy and like, hey, everything's okay. When the bubble was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and disaster was looming and the Democrats were going, look how many people who have achieved the American dream of home ownership thanks to us, right? That's when they were doing all that stuff. But here's the deal. He told me, we're going to take your mortgage and we're going to bundle it with a bunch of mortgages that are stronger than yours. That's the terminology he used. What he meant was he's going to take my mortgage and bundle with a whole bunch of people who have better credit than me and force them to take all of them, the good ones and the bad ones. Fannie and Freddie and some of the other large mortgage brokers knew what the deal was. You got to take all of them. You've got some in a package of 10. You got 3 or 4 A+ loans. You got 2 or 3 D and and some C's and B's tossed in there. In order to get the A+ loans, you got to take all of them, and that's what happened. Banks and mortgage companies and Fannie and Freddie were taking all of the loans, whether they were going to be good loans or not. Even the ones they knew were going to be bad loans. Even ones they knew there was no way, the numbers that didn't show there's any way that those people can afford that home or that much home for sure. But everybody was happy. People were attaining the American dream, and thanks to the left and Democrats, everything was lovely. Except, well, let me finish some of the story. Except it wasn't. And as things started to nosedive, people started losing their homes. We got to a point that we wanted to, that we thought that we could refinance our home. And we finally got somebody to help us go through the process, and we got an appraisal. And the appraisal, now this is and the time period between buying the house and the appraisal was about 5 years. We had done nothing to the house. We had not remodeled the home. We hadn't even painted the outside. We had done nothing to the house. And the appraisal came back $200,000 more than we paid for the house initially. Did Willie know that number was bullcrap? That number was not a real number in America? That number wasn't a number in space? That wasn't a real number, but it was $200,000 more than the price that we had signed our mortgage for. $200,000. The best thing that happened was that at that point we did not go forward. That was the smartest thing I have done in the past 30 years. We did not go forward. We did not push the envelope on that valuation and try to get money out, because people were doing that. People were taking that money out and going, well, I'll tell you what, we'll take the money out, we'll get caught up on our bills, we'll take a vacation, we'll go to blah, 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 we'll get a car, blah, 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 blah. And then what started to happen? Housing prices started falling to the floor. And immediately all these people were upside down. And then the Democrats in the Congress, who had been in charge this whole time, were screaming and yelling, people are losing their homes, we have to do something. The very same people who drill the holes in the damn boat were screaming that somebody else had to bail water. The very same people who drilled the holes in the boat in the first place. This is why these financial reforms that Trump is promising to Black Americans and urban renewal plan is important. Because the so-called measures, Dodd-Frank, that have been put into place to stop Democrats basically from screwing the country again, are a disaster. All right, now this is one of the ones that he talks about all the time, and we don't think it has anything to do with us, but it has a lot to do with us. Trade that works for American workers. We will stop the massive chronic trade deficits that have been emptied out our jobs. We won't let our jobs be stolen from us anymore. We will stop the offshoring of companies to low-wage countries and raise wages at home. Meaning rent and bills become instantly more affordable. We will tell executives if they move their factories to Mexico or other countries, we will put a 35% tax or tariff on their product before they ship it back to the United States. Now, as a conservative, I don't like tariffs because tariffs raise the prices of stuff. Because businesses don't pay tariffs, they pass that cost on to the consumers. But I'll tell you what, about a lot of things that we've been wrong, all the pundits have been wrong about Trump using this particular strategy, it's worked. We saw it work with Carrier. We've seen it work with Ford. We're seeing it work with a lot of companies that have decided, you know what, it just ain't worth it. Because what happens with the tariff is even if, let's say if ABC Widget Company goes to Mexico City, leaves Detroit, goes to Mexico City, starts making widgets, they can sell a widget for $100. In America, they go to Mexico, and they want to sell that same $100 widget, and that was a 35% tax on it, tariff. Now it's $135. That will be more expensive to Americans, but it might also price that company, ABC Widgets, that moved to Mexico, it might price them out of the market. So they've spent a bunch of money moving. They've spent a bunch of money building new factories, getting new employees. And although they are working for less money, they're not selling their products, in their biggest market. I understand. I'm not a fan of tariffs, but this strategy is important. This strategy is important for people who have jobs that they do things with their hands. Not all of urban America is out there writing code for apps. There are people who get dirty every day, who make stuff. There are a few manufacturing jobs in America as it is. Thanks to Democrats and unions, there are fewer. Now, if Donald Trump can bring some of those jobs back that don't require 4 years of college, when combined with the first point with trade and vocational schools, it's a freaking home run. He will have done more in 4 years for urban America than Barack Obama did in 8. I know I've said that before, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to say that again. If you combine number 6 and the bringing and the stopping the offshoring of jobs and companies, I mean, they're offshoring. I mean, these companies are going to other places around the world, not just to do the high-tech, high-paying jobs. They're sending the factory work other places. Why don't we make things anymore? Well, because things still have to be made. Cell phones still have to be put together. This microphone I'm using from Blue Yeti, and it sounds good, doesn't it? Had to be put together by somebody. It didn't get put together by a robot. This microphone got put together by a human being in China. The cup I'm having my coffee in that has snowmen on it. Let me see. I'm going to look at this. I don't want to spill my coffee everywhere. Let's see here. This one, and I spilled it anyway. Can't tell where it's made, but the other one next to it was made in China too. Somebody made it. Somebody put it together. Somebody did the work. And these are the jobs that could be here. That's what we're talking about. Jobs that can be done here. Now, I don't think that we're going to see manufacturing here like we saw in the 50s. I know a lot of those jobs are gone. I know that there's, in the automobile industry, robots taking the jobs and automating those jobs. Automation has taken some of those jobs and now they're gone and they're never coming back because that's not the way we build cars anymore. I get that. But humans still put cell phones together. Humans still put computers together. Don't they? Yes. Robots don't build mice for computers. Humans still put these together. I mean, I'm looking around my desk and there's all sorts of things that I see that are being made somewhere else that can be made right here in America. And if Donald Trump can bring those jobs back here and let people in the urban America have access to those jobs, then we win. He will have done more in 4 years than for urban America than Barack Obama did in 8. That's what it's all about. And we can hold his feet to the fire on all of this. That's the best part. He wrote it down so we can go, what about this? What about this? What about that? I'll tell you what. The left's not afraid that he'll fail. The left is afraid that he won't fail. The left is afraid that he will succeed, that we'll be able to check these things off as they get better. And there won't be enough Republicans in urban America for all the positions that'll be opened from liberal Democrats. There won't be enough black Republicans to fill all the spots. That's what they're afraid of. And they're afraid of that, quite frankly, for good reason. We'll be back after these messages. Information is crucial when you're looking to purchase a new home. With so many choices of communities and options, choosing the right one for you and your family can be a daunting task. That's why you need to go to New Homes of Tampa Bay right now, www.newhomestpa.com, and get the information you need. Learn how people save thousands of dollars when purchasing new homes. Buy like the pros. New Homes Tampa Bay, www.newhomestpa.com. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservative.com.
This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, inviting you to join me for my new show, Money Talk with Melanie, on January 16th at 10 a.m. on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Joining me will be Dr. Brooks Robinson of blackeconomics.org. We will discuss President-elect Donald Trump's New Deal for Blck America. I hope you'll join us.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant. From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Black Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackhead Radio.
Hack you. Hack you.
Radio.
Hack you. Hack you.
Radio.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're
think so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Well, thanks for tuning in today. My name is Willie Lawson, and if you're looking for something special, something different to get your day started, you can get your day started on the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network at 9:05. It is a shot in the arm. It's a cup of caffeine. for your brain and your heart and your spirit to get you going in the most important conservative way possible. Not just head knowledge, but actually getting on the ground and getting stuff done. That's what we do. We organize people to get on the ground, to get into the rib shacks and the chicken shacks, and get in the front pews of the churches and make things happen. Thanks for listening to the Willie Lawson Show. Here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9:05 Monday through Friday, and now with more of the right guys with Ralph and Lonnie. Ralph and Lonnie aren't here. What? Ralph and Lonnie aren't here. They are in D.C. They're at the parade, trying to get some bandwidth. Trying to get a little bandwidth. Apparently not able to. Understood. First of all, you got big, tall buildings, and you got a lot of security. You got a lot of people using wireless equipment there, and they're bleeding over every single frequency, and they're just not getting enough bandwidth. They were going to do this thing from the parade, and I really wanted to hear how Talladega went, and I want to talk about Talladega for a little bit because music is near and dear to my heart. I'm not sure how much music Talladega makes. I've heard them on YouTube. They seem to be a pretty good HBCU band. I like that. I like that they had the courage to go and march this parade. The exciting part about Talladega is they did a GoFundMe appeal for funds to make the trip. They asked for $75,000 and now have gotten over $600,000 donated to their program. To help them make this trip. Not only were they able to make the trip, they have extra money to do all sorts of other things with it. Praise God! It is exciting. And I watched the YouTube clip today when they were getting off the bus, getting ready for the parade. You know what? This is one of those things where this inauguration is not about celebrating Donald Trump. It's not about celebrating anything that he has said or written down or things that he's ever done in his past. What this inauguration is about is the peaceful transfer of power that it just doesn't happen everywhere else. As a matter of fact, right now in Gambia, in Africa, there's a new president who couldn't be sworn in Gambia. He had to be sworn in, listen carefully, had to be sworn in a neighboring country. Because the current president of Gambia is not going quietly. And it looks like the military is going to have to come in and forcibly remove the current president so the new president, voted on by the people of Gambia, can take control of the country. This is what happens in other places. I think that, my grandma used to have a phrase, and she was basically talking about children, but it really, really applies to adults as well. You're so free till you're foolish. Some of the people who listen to this show who are a little older probably know, especially from the South, know that phrase. He's so free till he's foolish. That sometimes we are so free that we're able to do and say anything we want, anywhere, anytime we want, that we don't have any self-control, we don't have any perspective, that we just blurt crap out and act out in ways that are completely and totally antithetical to anything correct, anything human or decent. Why? Because we are so free, because we can get away with it. Because no one's going to come tapping on our door and take us away in the middle of the night, put a bullet in our head. That's why. We're so free till we're absolutely foolish. All right, running out of time. Let's see if we can get to a couple of more things in Donald Trump's New Deal for Black Americans. Let's see, number 7. If you're in California, you know that this is a big deal. Now, and this is part of the deal, folks. This is part of why 13% of black men voted for Donald Trump. Number 7, protections from illegal immigration. We will restore the civil rights of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and all Americans by ending illegal immigration. No group has been more economically harmed by decades of illegal immigration than low-income African-American workers. Please tell me that ain't true. Please, somebody tweet at me. Tweet at me and tell me that ain't true. Tweet at me and tell me that the group of people who have not suffered the most have been poor black people. You know, it's funny that, you know, when people are talking about illegal immigration and immigrants coming in and taking low wage jobs, like especially in the agricultural industry. Well, these are jobs that nobody wanted to do. Well, that's damn interesting because those are the jobs that black people used to do. You know, my wife's relatives ended up in Rochester, New York. How they end up there? Because they were migrant workers. They followed the crops. My own father spent some time picking fruit here in Florida. That's how we were able to keep the house. So I know for a fact, my own personal experience tells me that what they're saying isn't true. Poor whites, poor blacks who were American citizens used to do those jobs. That's all there is to it. So, and of course, poor blacks have been injured more in their communities by the lack of that sort of job than any other group in America. You know, one of my first interviews on my show on Blog Talk Radio was with Jesse Lee Peterson of Bond, and he told me some of the horrors of the illegal gangs that come into Southern California and wreak havoc, come in, commit their crimes, do drive-bys, kill black teenagers, and then scurry back across the border like roaches. And it's just been getting worse. It's been happening for years and years and getting worse. But because Latinos and Hispanic Americans had become, especially from South and Central America, had become a larger and larger voting base from countries that are socialist countries, Democrats saw them as a voting bloc they could use against Republicans. So they decided to tell these people, Hispanic, Latinos, that illegal immigration was one of their issues. That Republicans were trying to keep their relatives from seeking a better life, while selling out some of the very same people that every 4 years they show up in your neighborhood, they show up in the pulpit of your church. The very same people, and say how much they're fighting for you to protect you away from the evil boogeyman of the Klan and the Republicans. The very same people who are for open borders, allowing people from all over the world, especially from south of here, to come into America and take the very jobs that you need so desperately, even when the numbers say that no matter what the overall unemployment rate is, black unemployment is still in double digits. Still. It's insane. But they'll stand up in the pulpit of your church and tell you how much they love you and how dangerous a Republican is and how dangerous Donald Trump is. When they're steadily taking money out of your pocket, steadily taking stabbing you in the back, making your life for you and your children more unsafe. So why? So they can get votes. You have got to be kidding me. So when Donald Trump, or frankly anybody, says that we're going to stem the tide of illegal immigration, I'm good with that. That's something that we need. That's something that we got to have. Now, I got through more of this than I thought I would, but I'm just going to read the other three, and then I'll read all 10. New infrastructure investment We'll leverage public-private partnerships and private investments through tax incentives to spur $1 trillion in infrastructure investments over 10 years in the inner cities. Yeah, because all our crap is toe up. To protect the African American church, we'll protect religious liberties, promote strong families, and support the African American church. Number 10, an America First policy. We will stop trying to build democracies overseas, wasting trillions, but focus first on defeating terrorists and putting America first. And if you put America first, you know what you also do? You put Americans first. You put Americans first. And that's what needs to happen. We'll be right back.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and
I
you're
think so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Black Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late night conservative talk, Sackhead Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America. And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
All right. Welcome back to The Right Guys with Willie Lawson. Ralph and Lonnie are somewhere in the belly of the beast. I'm sure the parade is, it's about 6 o'clock. It's about wrapping up. There have been some protests and up and around the parade. I'm praying that everyone is well. We're checking the our Facebook messaging group, and we're finding out that everybody's okay. And the only coverage of the protesters, of course, are by NBC and MSNBC, giving them voice, giving them reason to continue to tear crap up and protest the inauguration of our 45th president. So you know what day it is, right? Trump Day! There you go. That's what day it is. Don't forget it. I think this is a great opportunity. A lot of people are upset. I know, but I think this is a great opportunity for urban America to make the next step, to take the next step. 13% of African American men, of black men, have taken the first step. And I think we can, as a people, take the next step to make our neighborhood great again, to make our community great again. You know what? I know that Donald Trump says make America great again, but it's more important to make our neighborhood great again, to make our community great again. So that's what this is all about. Again, thanks again for having me here on The Right Guys, and make sure you listen to my show, The Willie Lawson Show, on 9:05 here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you.